They found the priest lying in the wheat fields of Glavia 9. He wasn't torn apart by Xenos. He wasn't shot or burned. There was no blood, just silence. His body had been arranged carefully, reverently, across the broken wings of a rusted Aquila monument that had once stood proud at the edge of Vane's Hollow. His mouth was sealed with wax. His eyes were missing. In his clenched hands, someone had left a handful of spoiled grain. No one saw anything. No one said anything. But after that night, the fields began to whisper. Glavia 9 is an agri-world, quiet, unimportant, unarmed. It exists to feed the Imperium, millions of hectares of wheat, grain, and protein yield crops, tall harvest stalks that stretch high enough to drown a man, great mechanical silos and reprocessing facilities run by local mechanicus, and a scattering of labor serfs. It was never meant to be of interest. But then the drones started going dark. Then the nightmares began. Then the priest was found. Inquisitor Virella Skane arrived 6 days later aboard the intractable Will, a frigate of the Ordo Hereticus, sleek and silent. She had received no official summons, no astropathic distress, just a hunch, a gap in the noosphere, a silence where there should be signal. And for inquisitors like Skane, silence is louder than screams. She arrived in Red Harrow Spire, the only hive on the planet, a crumbling vertical skeleton of faded glory. There she met Marshal Creel of the Adeptus Arbites, the planet's chief enforcer. Creel was worn thin, unshaven. His rebreather never left his jawline, even inside. When Skane asked why he hadn't summoned aid, he only said, "We didn't know what to call it." Skane reviewed the priest's body personally. No blood, no toxins, no warp trace. But she found something the others hadn't. Beneath the wax sealing his lips was the residue of something crystalline, almost like obsidian dust, something inorganic, something old. That night, her Vox relay began to pick up phantom transmissions, short bursts, unintelligible, except for one word, repeated again and again, whispered through the static. Samus. She and Marshal Creel visited Vane's Hollow. The locals were gone, relocated, allegedly, to a nearby processing center after containment concerns. But the buildings were undisturbed, machines were still running, a meal still warm in one of the servo stoves. Skane noticed that the pick recorders had all been physically removed, not hacked, not corrupted, unplugged, yanked out of their housings, dozens of them, and all the doors were locked. From the outside, Magos Biologus, Eltan Frey, assigned to agricultural data purity, had his own theories. He had seen signs of crop mutation, grain that grew in perfect fractal symmetry, no genetic markers, no deviance logged by Mechanicus seed protocols. One strand had the exact same stalk structure, repeated 9,111 times. Another, when dissected under magnification, formed repeating concentric spirals that pulsed. When asked if this could be a Xenos contamination, Frey hesitated. Then he said, "Number, but I don't think we're alone in the soil." Skane ordered an exploratory dig at the site of an abandoned grain silo designated Silo 9 Delta. The Mechanicus protested. Its foundations were sacred. It had once stored blessed biomass from the days of the Great Crusade. She overruled them. What they found wasn't storage. Beneath the silo was a vault, hexagonal, blackstone-lined, unmarked by Imperial sigils. Inside was a shrine, but not to the Emperor. Pillars of obsidian etched with impossible geometries, a plinth at the center, broken open. A fossilized humanoid figure had once rested there, its silhouette still burned into the stone. But it was gone. The vault had been sealed from the inside. Creel wanted to declare planetary lockdown, but Skan said it was already too late. The drones began returning from the fields, but not the same. One had its data core overwritten with binary prayers, not to the Omnissiah, but to something called the Soulless King. Another had no visible alterations, but emitted a constant, low-frequency harmonic hum. It didn't stop, even when powered down. A third spontaneously detonated after being placed in proximity to a Vox unit. The explosion left no shrapnel, just static. Civilians began disappearing. Entire communities reported missing persons, then vanished themselves days later. Not killed, not attacked, just forgotten. Their homes were left behind, their data profiles still existed, their names still on the rolls, but no one could remember their faces. Even Skane's own team began to lose time. One of her interrogators spent 6 hours on a report, only to realize he'd been writing the same 3 words over and over. He is listening. He is listening. He is listening. Then came the final transmission. An astropath stationed on a nearby relay station sent a burst transmission before falling into a coma. Her last words were logged, though they burned out the receiving terminal. It is not a god. It is the echo of what came before gods, before warp, before thought. It lives in stillness. It speaks in decay. It unbuilds what is built. The Soulless King is waking. Skane issued Inquisitorial Quarantine Protocol Alpha Null. No ships in, no signals out. Glavia 9 was to be declared lost. The Mechanicus protested. The local governor begged. The Arbites prepared for riot suppression. But no riots came, because in the days that followed, no one said a word. The planet went quiet. Skane returned to orbit aboard the intractable Will, alone. She wrote one line in her mission report before sealing it under inquisitorial priority. This was not chaos. This was not alien. This was not man. This was something else. Somewhere beneath the fields of Glavia 9, a Necron tomb complex stirs. The shrouded mob begin to gather, whispering silent prayers to their twisted patron, and the Soulless King listens.